Hi everyone, welcome to Sherry's Kitchen, and I'm Sherry. From my kitchen to yours, we are going to be talking about apples today. I don't know where you live or what time you're looking at this video, but apples are in season. And I love this time of year for making all these variety of foods with apples. So today we are going to learn how to make apple crisp, a healthy version, and we are going to do applesauce. So hang on. Well, it's apple season and we are going to start making apple crisp. Now, most people when they buy apples, they don't buy just a few. You either buy by the bag or the half a bushel or the bushel, and then you get home and you look at all those apples to peel. Well, I got a good invention for you. It's called the apple peeler. This is the best thing since sliced bread. So I'm going to demo it for you just to show you how it works. And so there's a lever here to pull back the rod. First you got to mount it. Good. It's a suction cup. Pull it back, and then you take the apple and you use the blossom side and you put it on these three prongs here. And you're trying to line it up to go into the peeler and core. This is the peeler and this is the core and slicer here. All right? So I'm going to show you how this works. So we're just going to run it through. It's going to start peeling. Then it's going to start coring and slicing. And there you go. Can you imagine if you had a bushel of apples going through it that easy? And we're going to take off the scraps and get rid of those. Then we have, it looks like an accordion, right? Well, you're not going to use it like that. But if you take your knife and cut it in half, you have half moon slices. And I'm going to just add those to the other part of the apples. So we're going to prepare our apples first, all right? I hope you enjoyed this little piece of equipment because it's really, really a good thing to have when you have a lot of apples. So now we're going to prepare the apples for the apple crisp, okay? And so I have about 2/3 of a bowl full here. There's no real measurement because it all depends on what size apple crisp you're going to be making. So this is about 4 cups possibly. So I'm going to season that a little bit. I'm going to use I made up a cinnamon substitute made from cardamom and coriander. You can use cinnamon if that's your seasoning of choice. And so this mixture is cinnamon and cardamom. Okay, so we're just going to sprinkle that over. And then for a sweetener, you don't have to really use a sweetener if you choose not to, if you have really sweet apples. But here I have some coconut sugar. So I'm going to mix that over in our bowl. And that was about half a cup. All right, so then I'm going to mix it up. You can use your hands as long as your hands are clean. And you're going to mix that up really good so that all of the apples are coated with those seasonings that you have. Now when baking apples, they have their own fluid, so you don't have to really add any fluid to it. And you can put other seasonings in there if you like. You can put a little vanilla flavor in if you like. But this is sufficient, all right? So then we're going to put it into a baking dish and we're going to make our topping. So hold on, we'll be right back. Okay, we're going to take these apples that we sliced and we're going to put them in our baking dish. Now I know this seems like a lot of apples, but remember apples cook down, and so these are going to cook down to nothing almost. So don't worry. And even the juices, you want all the little juices and stuff that it created. And you're going to pack that into your baking dish, and then we're going to make our topping. All right? Okay, the topping is going to be, now we may have leftover topping, but don't be afraid, we can store any leftovers. So we're going to have about 2 cups of the regular oats. Then we have 1 cup of shredded unsweetened coconut, and unsulfured is better if you can get it. Then we have about 1/2 cup of sliced almonds. Now the almonds are going to give it some protein, some crunch, and so it's really good to have, you can make this almost like a complete meal. And so then we have about a half a cup of the coconut sugar. And you can even use less. It looks like I'm going to use less than I have actually measured out. And we're going to mix this up until you can smell the coconut sugar already. And you can even put in more cinnamon if you're using cinnamon, or you can put in some coriander and cardamom, whichever your choice is. That's one thing that's good about these type of recipes. You can make it your own. Now to combine it together, I'm going to put in about a half a cup or 3/4 cup of the coconut oil. All right? And we're going to need our hands for this because we got to mash it into the dry ingredients. Don't leave none behind. All right? And remember, when you're baking, children, when you're doing things of this nature, not heat with it, you can have your children help you. They like getting messy. Well, they also like messing up your kitchen too. But that's okay. That's the fun of it all. Okay, so we're going to continue to get this coconut oil all mixed together into our dry, and it's coming together pretty good. And you can even use fruit juice if you like. If you don't want to use the coconut oil, you can even use water if you like. I've done that too many times. That's the variations that you can do with this recipe. Okay? All right, I'm just going to wash my hands and some of this stuff off for a minute. All right, so now our mixture is completed, and we're going to sprinkle this on top of our apple mixture here. Now remember, you may not use it all, and I don't think we're going to because I think we have more than enough, and I'm going to try to make some of it slip down in between the apple slices. But if you have some left over, I like it when I have some left over because then I can make it apple crisp up real quick and easy. You can make individual little dishes for family members, or you can do it just like this in one or even a larger one. Now we're going to put this in the oven on 350. I still have some left, so I'm going to save that for another round. Now, I don't like having I want to put foil on the top, but I don't want foil touching my food because many of you know the dangers of aluminum. So I'm going to put parchment paper first, and then I'm going to put the foil on top of that. And we're going to put this together, make it like a lid so that the apples, the heat will stay in and the apples will cook a lot faster. Okay? So we're going to take this, put it in the oven, put it on 350, and leave the lid on for about maybe 30 minutes, and the last 15 minutes we will take it off. Okay, be back. Okay, I'm back, and now we are going to do applesauce. We've used our famous little apple peeler, and that's how we got about 6 quarts of apples. And we are going to take these apples and put them in the Instant Pot. If you don't have an Instant Pot, you can use a pot on the stove and do the same thing. Okay, so we're going to put this, we have put our Instant Pot on saute. We're going to saute the apples for a while until they soften up and become a little hot. And then we're going to put it under pressure for about 3 minutes. And then we're going to do what we call an NPR, which is natural pressure release. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put our apples in our pot. And it's already sauteed. It's already on. Whoa, yeah. Nice and hot. All right. And whatever liquid, we want to go and have that go in also. All right. Now we're going to add our seasonings. And again, we're going to use, just like we did with the apple crisp, you can use some date sugar, or you can use a little agave, or you can use both. Okay, so this is our, coconut sugar, but you can use date sugar too. And we're going to put a little bit of that in. And then we're going to put a little bit of agave. Now, if your apples are really, really sweet, you don't have to put any sweetener in them. Okay, so I'm just going to squirt in maybe a couple tablespoons. And then we're going to put our seasoning in, which is our cardamom and coriander. And we're going to stir that up in the pot until it gets hot. And this way it'll cut the pressure time, as it's building pressure, it'll cut that time in half, okay? So we're going to let this come up to heat, and I will be back to set it for pressure. Come back. Okay, I'm back. And now our apples are hot. And one of the reasons I put it on saute and before I pressure is because pressurizing does not happen unless there's enough liquid. And this creates more liquid in the bottom of the pot before I set it on pressure. And the apples are heated more, and it'll make it a shorter time. And I'm also now going to put in my vanilla. You don't have to put the vanilla in, but you can put it in now, even in the beginning, that's okay. Okay? So now that my apples are heated, I'm going to put it on pressure for 3 minutes. I'm going to put it on my Instant Pot, and I'm going to cancel the saute mode, and I'm going to put it on pressure. And so as soon as that's done, I'll be back. Okay, our pot has finished. It has pressurized for the 3 minutes, and now we have the pressure release, and we can open it up and let's see what we have. All right. Always open it up away from yourself. And we're just going to take our spoon, and we're going to see how soft. See how soft that is? All right. Now we're going to see how we can make it into more into applesauce. All right, so now you have seen the apples, how they're cooked, but we have two choices now. If you like chunky applesauce, you can use a masher, or you can use a hand blender to make more of a saucy apple. I like a saucy apple. So we're going to blend this up in the Instant Pot, and that's the advantage of having a hand blender. And it seems a little watery at first, but apples have a lot of pectin in them. And that pectin is what's going to thicken the applesauce. So at first it may seem thin, but let's see. Oh boy, looking good. Smelling good. All right. Looks like applesauce. All right. I'm in a bowl here so you can see the consistency. Like I said, it first starts off a little thin, but as it cools, because of the pectin, it's going to get a lot thicker. Now, applesauce is a wonderful food. Have you ever had what we call applesauce toast, where you could take a nice, good whole grain bread, toast it, put some peanut butter on it, and put this on top of it, and you have a complete meal. And it is so, so good. And also, applesauce can go on top of oatmeal. A lot of children love to have the applesauce on top of the oatmeal, or you can mix it with other fruits as a fruit sauce on top of your apples. So there's many things you can do with these apples, and this is the time of year to enjoy. So enjoy, and I hope you will subscribe to me, and hit the subscribe button, and let me know. If any comments or questions, please leave them, and I will answer. The apple crisp is finally out of the oven. The only thing, it did take a little bit longer than I suspected because I had more apples in there than I normally do, but I like it that way. And so I had to cook it covered for an hour and then 15 minutes uncovered to kind of brown up the top. And so it's finished. Now, apple crisp can be used as a breakfast dish as long as you don't make it too sweet, or it can be used as a dessert. And you can let's serve a little bit up here. You can put a nice topping on top of this. See that? Isn't that beautiful? Such as a cashew cream or coconut cream that you know how to make. That's going to be like a whipped cream. That would be wonderful for this. So it can be a breakfast or dessert. And I hope you enjoy it because I am.